So it's another crazy Monday, and where are we going to start? Are we going to start with the toilets on the Artemis? We're going to start with the mission that the Artemis is actually doing and what it actually means and why some people are thinking that it's illegal what we're doing, which again, I don't know how that's even possible. Or we're going to talk about the heroic actions of our military in saving and rescuing one of our downed officers and the expenditure that we're willing to put out because we are Americans and that's what we do. Or should we dive into China and how it's been really kind of preparing for war and how even though we don't seem to be realizing that we're in war, they do. Well, how about we do all of them? Welcome to The Ripple Effect, where my goal is to show you the impacts behind every headline so you know how it's going to be affecting your life and your family. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about something fun. The Artemis. Apparently, they're having issues with the toilet. And even though they seem to have fixed it, they are now on their third round of the toilet not working and going back to fallback plans, which is, I guess, baggies. So nothing's more fun than trying to pee into a baggie in space. There's a reason why they have vacuum toilets. Oh, I cannot even imagine how horrible that is. That is wild. All right, on that great news. But the Artemis now, I think today, I don't remember exactly when I was supposed to look into it because my son wanted to look at it, the live stream or whatever, as they were going on the dark side of the moon, and they were going to get shots that they haven't gotten before, and they're going to be further away from the Earth than has ever been done before. Great achievements, great accomplishments, and it is a memento to just how insane we are as a species, as humans, that they would want to do it. I mean, I cannot imagine being in a spacecraft where around you outside is nothing that you can survive in. Like if I get into a wreck in my car, I can still breathe the air, right? If they have any kind of issue, yeah, they're dead. Like any issue basically, and they're dead, except for, the toilets. Apparently they're not dead with the toilets, but you never know. But a great success. But apparently The Independent, I believe, came out with a question of whether or not us setting up a base on the moon would violate international law. And I don't know if they have realized this yet, but America doesn't run on the world's international law. We don't. We've never recognized any other country's right over us, nor should we, nor will we. Now, on the same concept and idea, I wanted to go into just how heroic and amazing our military really is. And if you've not seen the coverage on this, I don't know where you've been, but it is amazing. And it's a true testament to what we are as humans. And you want to know what the impact of everything we believe as a country is, then you have to see what our military is capable of doing. And our military is capable of doing it not just because we have the tech, not just because we have the training, but because who we are as a people. Who we are as a people matters. Our mentality matters. It affects how we approach every angle, every fight, every issue. There was a European, I got the report here, it's from Not the Bee, it's actually kind of funny. It says, the European didn't understand why Americans never leave a man behind. Well, because we're Americans. And apparently in the comments, or in his statement, he didn't understand why we were willing to expend like $300 million in equipment and risk hundreds of lives to get back the weapons officer from the F-15E that was shot down. If you don't understand that, why we were willing to do that and risk those lives, it's because you're not American. It's not something that you can just imbibe. You can't just become this part of American. You have to be born into this America to understand this and to believe this. It's what separates us from the rest of the world. And so when the Democrats and the liberals and every nutcase that's out there wants to destroy your worldview, our understanding of who we are, that's what they're going to destroy. It makes us weaker. Every single last one of, I guess it was like almost 100 special operations unit people that were on standby to help rescue this guy. And some of them went in and got him out. We lost 2 C-130s in the process. A lot of money, a lot of expenditure. But if you ask any single one of those special operators or anyone else that went in this mission, and said, are you willing to risk your life to save that man? I think he was a colonel. Every single last one of them would have said yes, because we don't leave a man behind. And just so you understand who we're dealing with, some people keep losing track of who Iran it really is. And I'm talking about the people of Iran. I'm talking about the terrorists that call themselves a government there. They wanted him desperately. They were going to offer $60-something thousand, which to them, mind you, again, the fact that I think it's like 5 million reals to $1. That's an insane amount of money. They were offering that not because they wanted to have a POW, but because they were going to threaten, just like every other terrorist group out there, to execute him on live TV if we wouldn't stop the war. That's what they want. That's who we're fighting. And when people tell you differently, remember that that's not the truth. We are fighting against people that are insane. They are terrorists. They are horrible. They are the scum of the earth. And we want to get that country an opportunity to recover, to have a life, to have freedom that they don't have. And in fact, it's so encouraging when you hear the story of how the province where they were at, where this man was at, how they came out of the streets with their families and they stood in the streets to block the way so that it was hard for the IRGC and all these people that were trying to get in there to look for this guy. It was hard for them to get through and travel through there. They put themselves on the line and their families on the line to do this. They understand the value of freedom. The 40,000, 45,000, I think that Trump said, people that have lost their lives on the Iranian side, they understand the impact of this war. But they also understand more than anything the impact of not having this war. And when people tell us that we shouldn't have this war and that we shouldn't be risking the lives of our airmen, that we shouldn't be risking the lives of our special operators, and we shouldn't be risking our equipment, remember the 45,000 people that were killed just for protesting this regime. Remember the thousands of our people, Americans, that were killed, murdered by either Iran or by its proxies. Remember through all of the history since this country started, how it's held the jugular vein of the entire economy of the world through the Hormuz Strait. And ask yourself, are we bad for invading? Well, we haven't really invaded, we've been bombing them. And when we finally allow the people of Iran to come out of their homes and encourage them, because right now we're telling them no, but when we encourage them to stand up on their own and we give them arms, I see a country that's willing to fight for its own and to get it back. The concept of this man knowing that he had the greatest fighting force in the world at his back, who had his back, has to give every single pilot and every single airman and every single anybody who's involved in this the calm assurance of knowing that we have their back. And we as a country should have their back, should have our military's back. I think it's a failure on our part that we're so short-sighted that we can't stand the idea of this lasting longer than 6 weeks. Again, I want to reiterate, they rescued this man from the middle of Iran without losing a man, without suffering a casualty. They built an airstrip in the middle of Iran, our special forces did, to land 2 C-130s so they could get this guy and all the people that were trying to rescue him out, under fire. And when the C-130s got mired in the sand of that airstrip that they built in the middle of of enemy territory, they built an airstrip. They flew in 3 lighter planes to take them out. And then because we are America and we understand the value Not Biden. He didn't understand this, but we understand the value of what we hold and the value of what we have and the value of our people. We bombed those C-130s to nothingness to deny any bit of help to the enemy. Now, speaking of enemy, there's been reports that just got released, and I will try to refer you to this. I don't know how to link it yet. I'm not the perfect when it comes to technology, but I'll get there eventually. But China Uncensored came out with a great video, and it was talking about how we now have all the proof that we need, showing all the passages back and forth of the underground surveys that have been being done in preparation for underground submarine warfare from China to America. Around all of our bases, around Hawaii, around a lot of these crucial areas where they've been mapping the underground seabed so that they can actually do submarine warfare. Now, what people don't get right a lot of times is they think that submarine warfare is when you've seen in like the old movies where they're the subs coming in, it's like bing, 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 and it's going the sonar going to check all the stuff around it to make sure it doesn't run into anything. And you see like the if you ever watch like I'm thinking of the Hunt for the Red October and stuff like that, like these columns coming up from the seabed, and they're spinning around these, turning at just the right angles, and they're mapping through all this. No. So we coordinate and we map all of those so that we don't have to do the sonar. Sonar is like literally going, I am here, bomb me, shoot me. So they don't want to do that. So you have to map it out ahead of time. And China now has mapped out all of these areas. And you can look at the maps. The maps were insane. Again, I refer you to China Uncensored. It's not that hard to find it. We are in a war with China, and they're winning. And you know why they're winning? Because they know they're in the war. We don't. Sorry for that abrupt stop. My son broke into my room because the Elon Musk SpaceX rocket was flying by, and actually it was really, really, really cool. What I was going to say is China, they've been planning. They know they're in a war. They know what's going on. They now have a port, or not a port, well, I guess it would be a port, but a base. They've been given permission in Micronesia. Micronesia, we have a treaty with them saying that we can deny this. I don't know why we're not doing it, but we should be doing this. The Diego Garcias, those islands that we're using to reload all the weapons and all the stuff that we need for the Iranian campaign in the Diego Garcia Islands. They are in those islands. They are trying to build a base. And England, of all the stupid places in the world, England is considering this on... Why? I don't know. Because they want to capitulate to China. At this point, it is insane. We are at a point now where if we want to survive, and this is the problem with people like Tucker Carlson, who has got to be a CIA plant. There's no way that, or he's totally bought out. There's no way someone can be this foolish and think that we can give power to wicked, horrible regimes and expect that they'll just treat us nice. In fact, China has an idea of taking Hawaii, splitting it in half, and taking the western half, and we take the eastern half of the Pacific. Like, that belongs to them, this belongs to us. That's not a regime we want to treat with. A communist country like them doesn't understand truth. They don't understand morals. They don't understand anything that keeps them from the power that they have. If we keep playing patsy with them, we will end up losing. And if we don't realize just how dangerous they are and prepare for the war that is coming, and if we prepare for it, we probably won't even have to fight it because we can out-economy them. Even though people don't think that, we can. Then we can win this if we think it through, plan, and shut them down, just like Reagan shut down the Soviet Union. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. It helps so much. And again, I'm sorry for the interruption. It was a little bit fun and smooth, but hey, that rocket was pretty cool.